Welcome to this powerful episode of the Life Doula Podcast. Today, we're stepping into the world of compassion, resilience, and innovation. We explore a journey that intertwines a deep personal care with entrepreneurial spirit. Love giver and CEO tackling financial strain in cancer care. In today's episode, we ask, how can one navigate the rugged terrain of caring for a loved one while also addressing the heavy burden of financial toxicity that accompanies a diagnosis? Our guest today is a dear friend, Yona Signo. She exemplifies this balance. As a sacred space holder, the CEO of her very own company, providing virtual assistant pools to clients, and a devoted love giver to her father. Yona brings a unique perspective to this critical conversation. Join us as Yona shares her insights on creating sustainable income from the comfort of your home, the challenges and the triumphs of being both a love giver and a business leader, and how love and innovation can transform the financial landscape for those affected by diseases and even cancer. Thank you for being on the podcast, Yona. Please share with our audience how you found your calling to be a sacred space holder and setting up a business, becoming a CEO in a relatively new industry that empowers people to be able to work from the comforts of their home.
Oh, well, Charity, thank you so much for having me. I guess what I'll share to begin with is how I started my business.
Sure.
So it was in the beginning of my motherhood journey. My daughter was almost 1 year old, and I thought to myself, do I go back to corporate world, or should I start something with my existing skill set and my expertise? And my expertise is project management and service management, focusing on continuous improvement for businesses. And so I thought, okay, she's almost one, and I've really enjoyed being a part of her life. And so how can I continue this? And during that time, it was, researching, having a look in terms of the different technologies, the different types of work available. And I found this virtual assistant world. And I thought, okay, I can do this. I spoke to my husband about it, and he was really supportive about it. Spoke to my family. They were like, oh yeah, never heard of that before, but sure, that sounds great. But all you need is your family supporting you and that little bit of confidence and believing in yourself. And you're like, okay, let's give this a try.
And that idea, right? That idea of something that really brews in your heart.
Absolutely, yes.
And keeps you awake at night.
Yeah, definitely. And so for me, it was like, okay, I actually got my first client quite easily through my husband's network. And so I got my first client. I was like, wow, I'm now working from home and I've got my computer and I can still go to Gymbaroo with my daughter. I can still do the things that I need to do at home, but still be able to make money and, still own my time. And so after that, I was like, okay, I'm getting busier, got another client,
This was just you.
This is just me. I'm the VA number one.
Oh, you're
right?
VA
I am
number
VA
one.
number one.
VA, for the sake of our audience,
Yes,
is
it's
virtual
assistant.
assistant. So you're
I'm
employee number one.
Yeah, I'm employee number one.
Okay, I'm having goosebumps. Okay.
Yeah, and so I guess you could say I'm my first client too. Because from there, I was like, hang on a second. The whole reason why I'm doing this is so I can spend time with my daughter. But now I'm so busy. So I thought, okay, how am I able to help more people, but not be bogged down and not be able to do the things that that was part of my original plan? And so I thought, you know what? I'm Filipino. We have the best workers.
Oh, yeah.
People who can speak English, who are great with customer service. That is where I'm from. So I decided, okay, for me to be able to grow my team, I can do that by adding more people to my team And then why not? Let's go to the Philippines. And so my family and I, it was a whole big expedition because my daughter, my husband, my parents, we all went to the Philippines so I could hold interviews. And that's where we hired the VA number 2.
Oh, okay.
And so from there, I was able to then delegate work, and then we acquired more clients, and I guess you could say the rest is history because we just grew from there.
Yeah.
And I loved it because I was able to create the life I wanted, and be able to help people also make a living.
Talking about creating the life you wanted, I met Yona during the pandemic, and we would meet every week. We are both sacred space holder coaches. And it's crazy because we were just in the same program every single time. So she is also a coach.
Yes.
So living the life you want to live is really a combination of all your passions. Your work as, a CEO of your own company who supplies virtual assistants, and you being a coach or a sacred space holder, right? So what motivated you other than really your need to be able to provide for the family and still help your husband and still, be able to spend time with your kids, your daughter at the time? Is that the only reason why you got into VA work?
Yeah, it was really to be able to still, sustain financial income, but have that flexibility to own my time. So yeah, that's really the big motivation, because I didn't want to be stuck in that 9 to 5. And I use the word stuck because you can't just leave.
Yeah,
right?
That's true.
And
That's the reality.
That's
You
the reality of it. You can't just leave whenever you want to. But whereas for me, I can design my day to be able to do work like things around the well-being space, to be able to still use my project management skills, and also do these things, to be able to sit here with you.
And there's another role that you play that you love very well, and that's being a love giver to both your parents.
Yes.
Talk to me about that. I know that you love them dearly.
Yes.
I know that, you're a very strong woman, but one of the things that kind of throws you off every now and then is when your dad gets ill and all of that. Talk to me about your role as a love giver.
Yeah, so as a love giver, I'm really close to my parents. I always say that they're part of my board of directors of my business, but they're the board of my life. But yeah, so it's ever since the diagnosis of my dad, it's really been a part of my life too, and not because it was told to me, right? It was because I felt that was my duty as a daughter. I wanted to be there for my parents. And so, yeah, it's challenging at times, but I think if you remain faithful to God and ensuring that you also have the tools, and you know what tools I'm talking about, as long as you've got the tools and that supportive network around you.
Your community,
it's so important to ensure that your cup is full to be able to continue.
Very important. As a love giver, you always pour into yourself first because you have nothing to give if you do not take care of yourself.
Yeah.
From where you are with the work that you do, how can one address, the financial toxicity of a family stricken by a disease, especially something like cancer, right? How can one address and be able to still take care of their loved ones with the work that you do? What opportunities can we offer to our listeners who are love givers or even people living with cancer?
Yeah.
Because the work that you do can give them opportunities to be able to earn, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the really important things is to have a frank and open conversation as a family unit as to what our financial position is, what are the financial requirements in order to go through treatment or whatever it is that you need to, so that you have a clear understanding as to what you need to sustain whatever goal it is. that you have as a family. And from there, at least you'll then know, okay, this is what we need. Or we have this goal of, okay, we need to make X or whatever it is. And then from there, you'll be able to decide what type of work do I need to obtain to be able to meet those goals. And so as a virtual assistant, what you need is, in simpler terms, it's really strong internet, a computer, and the skills. And so a lot of people forget that, they'll go, oh, I've only worked in the office. I've never worked remotely. But in actual fact, that's where you start.
Yeah.
That's where you start to gain your skills, by working in an office. So you think to yourself, okay, you do a stock take as either a love giver or even as a cancer patient yourself. Do a stock take of your skills. What type of experience have I had at work? And then what are the skills that I've brought to that to be able to do those things? So just as an example, you may have been working at the office as an account executive,
Yes.
right? Okay, so what did you do as an account executive? I was able to make phone calls. I was able to keep the diary organized. I was able to
Schedule appointments,
create proposals, follow up invoices, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
But those things are actual skill sets and tasks that you can bring to the virtual assistant world. So you don't have to go into the office to do that.
Exactly.
You can do this from home.
Yeah. You mentioned two words that are important in this topic, the need and sustainability, which is very important.
Yes.
Believe it or not, I was sharing with you today, cancer patients and their families go through this journey not having a very clear picture of the financial requirements of the journey. It's like everyone just rolls with the tide, which in the end is not sustainable.
That's right.
Because you did not, as you said, get stuck of how much do I need? And with how much we are earning right now, if you are both, income earners, how much more do we need to make so we can afford treatment, right? So very important. What are some of the practical steps that cancer patients or people living with cancer and their families can take or generate income? Say, for example, as a virtual assistant, you mentioned some of the basic things. A strong internet.
Yeah.
God help us in the Philippines.
Especially when it rains.
Yeah. We have 3 internets here in the center, but when it rains, like one conks out and God knows what happens to the rest. So you have a strong internet.
Yes.
You have a laptop
Yes.
that's working, hopefully, and skill sets, right? And so if they have that, walk us through the process. Say, for example, they want to avail of this opportunity. How can they reach you and all of that?
Yeah, so
How can they start?
yeah, well, really, I always say this, you really also have to believe in yourself.
Very important.
You really need to have that confidence. You may not have a client right now, but I think the important thing is that if you believe that you've got the skills to be able to serve other people in the sense of being able to help them with their business, then it will happen. So you either can go at it by yourself, and when I say go at it by yourself, I mean you can go and look and acquire clients directly yourself, or you can work with people like Kaya Services or Vision Outsourcing, where you can approach them and you can say, this is my skill set. I was an office manager previously, and these are the things that I can help clients with. And people like agencies like Kaya Services and Vision Outsourcing, they'll be able to then match you with clients over in Australia and beyond. And so that's what we do.
Wow.
That's what we do right now. And so people would approach us and we'll, be able to advise, okay, this person would be great to be able to do this. So I did only mention general administration, but there's also this digital marketing world. There's also writers that is required. There's also podcasts, video editing, all of these things. People around the world need that.
Wow. So, okay, now it's revealing that I only know the tip of the iceberg
Yeah.
in as far as VA work is
Yes.
concerned.
Yeah.
So it's more than just setting appointments,
Oh, yeah.
creating proposals, helping, say, for example, a coach like me book clients and all
Yes.
of that.
Yeah.
There's a whole spectrum of
Absolutely.
services.
Yes.
And you can do this
Yeah. Absolutely.
from the comforts of your home. So I'll make this very, very vivid. If you are a love giver and your loved one is mobile, she's able to move,
Yeah.
right? The time that she's active or she's rebounded from chemotherapy, you can actually get work done
Yes.
in between those hours.
Definitely.
And Yona, how much time do you normally need to log in as a VA? Is there a minimum number of hours that one needs to work?
Not necessarily. And I think this is really important for a loved one or someone who's going through the journey themselves. It's to really honor your energy. So it's about ensuring that we're being honest as well, because, we want to be able to fulfill the commitments that we make. We don't want to disappoint other people either, because these people are relying on us. But it's so important to honor your energy. So if for example, you can only work 5 hours a week, then so be it.
5 hours a week.
Yeah, so be it. But you need to express that to your client or to the people that you're working with.
To an agency like yours.
You just have to say, I'm only available for 5 hours and I'm only available from 9 to 12. And you can say it because I have treatment from this time to this time. So that the expectations are said up front and then everybody's aware. So that way you also don't get disturbed in the afternoon because you're getting your treatment. And also people know, okay, she's resting at this time. But you need to be honest that, okay, if I've committed to the 5 hours, that you really can.
Yeah.
And if there's anything that may stop you, say it straight away.
Okay. Okay.
So
I'm actually very excited with this because I know that this is one of the answers to the financial toxicity. But I'm just realizing now how huge of a solution
absolutely
this can be. Not just for people going through cancer, but cancer survivors who face the crossroad like he did on a different circumstances of, do I go back to work considering what I've been through? Or do I just work from home so I can manage my recovery? So to our audience, this is an opportunity to anyone in the cancer journey, whether you are on active treatment, you are recovering, you're a survivor, or you are a love giver. Yona, from your experience, because I now see that the way Yona approaches the business is already a blend of her being a CEO and being a coach. She talks about being honest as to what your energy can afford to do. And really being upfront about it when you work with agencies like Kaya and say, I'm still recovering from chemo, so I can do probably 4 hours a week of work, right? So that's her coach hat talking. But in terms of balancing the demands of entrepreneurship while also taking care of your parents from afar, because right now you're in the Philippines because this is where the bulk of your work is, but you're also overseeing still the care of not just your dad, but also your mom. How do you and the kids? How do you balance all of that?
Yeah, I know. Sometimes I wonder to myself, how do I do it? But I think, going through the Sacred Space certification enabled me to gain the tools that I need to be able to ensure that my cup is always full and that I'm giving from my overflow. But I think really being faithful and praying to God, expressing my gratitude for the blessings that I receive in life, whether it's small or big, it doesn't matter, but just expressing that gratitude.
Yeah, there's no such thing, right?
Every little bit, being on the wake up list.
every day
is already such a huge blessing, you know. But so yeah, being a person who's very faithful, somebody who's really filled with gratitude. I think for me that is the foundation of how I'm able to stay and remain positive. And surrounding yourself with an amazing community of people where you don't have to pretend to always be okay.
you don't have
You
to be
don't have
pretend to always be strong.
Yes. And I think because women, they have this pressure that they put on themselves that I always have to be okay. No, it's that's not the case. You don't always have to be okay. And for me, it's that courage to be able to say, you know what, I need help. And so for me, I do put my hand up because it takes a village, especially when it comes to motherhood.
Yeah.
And especially when it comes to
Love giving.
Love giving. And so, I don't pretend like when it's my parents, like I don't pretend like I'm always amazing. Like I'll say, "Oh, mommy, can you pray for me?" Or "Mommy, daddy, can you pray for me?" I don't feel the greatest, or I'm really feeling really tired. And so I think that's one of the things. It's just having that belief in yourself that it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to ask for help. But it's really that courage to just keep on going.
Yeah.
And having a community around you to be able to provide you with that support, whether it's like with me to you, I'll send you a message.
Yeah.
Receiving that reply from you, being able to contact our community of our sacred space holders, just having that, it really provides you with that embrace, that comfort, and
That
you just
support
go,
that you need.
And it's so important.
I love what you said about your faith as the foundation, because if you do not have a strong faith, you will be in the state of worry because your parents are so far away. But your faith allows you to believe that where your prayers, where your hands cannot reach them and embrace them, your prayers can.
Yes. And
right?
I love that. When you share that to me, I loved it. And then it's that let go and let God.
Yes.
And that's something that I really learned from my mum. My mum was really somebody who's always shared that with me. And so it's something that I hold close to my heart. And it's something that I hope that I'm able to share with my children.
I'm sure you're role modeling it now with your kids. Let's talk about emotional challenges. I know that I've always seen you as a very strong woman, but the emotional challenges and the financial challenges that come with being a love giver and how you manage all of these aspects. I know your parents are fairly independent, but that emotional balancing that you need to do especially when I've also seen you evolve, like from a state of panic sometimes. When you now tell me, can you pray for my dad? He's going to undergo a procedure. There's now a tone of calmness and peace. How were you able to do that?
I really have to say, it's really knowing that God is behind us. I think knowing that has given me the strength, and just that belief that no, it will be fine. Whatever He has laid out in front of all of us is what will be. And so I think this is something that my dad has always, said to me as well. It's like, as long as we live with integrity, and my mum saying, as long as we always have that faith behind us, it will be fine. So of course it can get challenging. And it's okay to be. I allow myself to sit there for a little bit, but then I can still get up and keep going, So
I love the word allow because it also connotes trust. Right? When you allow life to be, when you allow difficult things in your life, they're our greatest teacher most of the time, right? Yona, let's talk about Kaya as an agency and how it can be really an opportunity that opens up for families living with cancer. I say families because when one is diagnosed with cancer, the whole family needs to deal with it, right? Exactly, if they're not yet confident of putting themselves out there directly to look for clients. When they go to you, what exactly do they need to do? Do they need to send you a CV? Do they go through an interview?
So one of the first things I always say is make sure you tick off that you've got all of the minimum requirements, the internet, the computer, all of those things. And then have a think about, your availability and your energy, and then have your CV, your resume ready with your experience, your skills. What are the applications you can use? So by applications, it could be Google, it could be Canva, it could be all of those things. List those down. And then have a think about, okay, these are my skills. What are practical ways that I can help a business? And so one of the important things is when you're sending your resume or your CV, include a cover letter.
Yeah.
In your cover letter, because you'll be surprised, not a lot of people put cover letters. In your cover letter, actually specify how can you be of value for a business, for a client. And so we assist clients in Australia and beyond to grow their business, whether it's through administration or digital marketing. And so think about it in that respect. How can I help this business with my skills? And then include that as part of the cover letter. But there's lots of courses out there as well. If
Short
I can
courses,
mention.
yeah, sure.
So Pinai Girl Boss. So I worked with Pinai Girl Boss to create a virtual assistant course. So that's also a first stop that you could do. You could go there.
And the prices of the courses are reasonable, right?
Yeah, and I'm the one who's speaking. So yeah, I mean that's the reason why, because working with people like Pinai Girl Boss, we're trying to empower more Filipinos to be able to do this work.
And trying to deregulate the way people earn money.
Yeah.
Right? I belong to a generation where people had to work 8 to 5 or 9 to 6. That's no longer the case. My biggest example is my daughter. Right after the university, she was thinking of going to law school, but she ended up talking to me about doing digital marketing work. And I didn't know she enrolled in AIM for digital marketing. And she's only the only one in our family who has never done an 8 to 5 job. But she's happy.
She's thriving.
Yeah. So this is the part where it's very hard. Filipinos do not normally ask this right away, but I know that you're a very upfront person. So I'm going to ask a question. Can you give our audience an idea? Like, how much can they potentially earn if they apply to Kaya, your company, if they want to be a virtual assistant?
Okay, so depending on your work experience, your skill sets, but you could earn, for example, because it depends on the hours you work as well.
Yes.
Because as I mentioned, you could work as little as 5 hours a week. But, give or take on average, you could be earning like 50,000 pesos a month.
50,000 pesos a month. Do you know how much an employee earns? And this is already a very good company. You get hired and your starting could be like 18,000 pesos.
Yeah.
And you work like 40 hours or more a week.
Yeah.
And you don't own your time.
Yeah.
Wow. 50,000 pesos.
Yes. But again, that's
Yes.
depending on your skill set, how many hours you work. There's a whole range of things. That's why there's like a ballpark figure, really.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, these are the conversations that we have with our virtual assistants, And it's also making sure that we partner you with a business that is also aligned. So for me, it's really important for me to ensure that the virtual assistants that we work with have integrity.
Yes.
They have the skill sets and all of those things, but also businesses are heart-centered as well. they have integrity and all of, and so
So
that
you
way,
match that.
absolutely.
So it's like dating. You match the right person.
Yes.
But this is so liberating, Yona, as not just for people or families with cancer, but for people who are looking for an income stream that will allow them to still pursue their
Yeah.
other passions in life. Like you and I are like so into this whole personal growth
Yeah.
thing, right? And while holding space,
Yeah.
this is something that you can do. And I always remember what Krista said. This is something that can fund
Yeah.
the life you want to live.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, that's exactly right. And I think one of the first things that I really have to say, if you're going to go into the virtual assistant world, you have to make sure that you are upfront in terms of what your availability is and what you can do energy wise. What we don't want to see is that people ghost or
Yes.
people just disappear out of thin air. And it does happen. And so that's why I always say integrity is paramount
Yeah.
in this world, because you don't see people every day.
Yes.
And you need to be self-motivated too,
Yeah.
because you're not going to have somebody there going, oh, you can do this. You need to be able to do it for yourself. So as long as you're really upfront and you're able to be self-motivated and really love the work that you do and love the way you do it, oh, you'll definitely thrive.
I am so excited. I'm going to throw in this question.
Yeah.
A lot of cancer patients, they're already tagged as person with disability.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because right now people go through a lot of conditions where they're limited physically. So cancer patients are issued with a card, a PWD card, right? And a lot of them do not get regular jobs
Okay.
when they go for interviews. Is that a limitation with Kaya? Is it going to be a limitation if they're already tagged as person with disability? They can still talk, they can still be on the phone. They just have physical limitations.
No, I think I'm actually surprised what you've just said. I didn't realize that people who've gone through cancer are cancer patients, that they're already tagged as person with disability. No, I like to think and believe that our business and the industry in itself is inclusive. And I think, coming from a place where we have compassion and empathy towards other people, I don't think having cancer is a reason to discriminate, towards a person. So, I think being upfront about it, saying that you're going through this, I think so that we can empathize and be able to be compassionate towards your requirements. But I don't think that's going to be a reason for you to not be able to do the work that you
Absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
To me, this is a relatively new industry. How do you see it panning in the next couple of years?
Oh wow, with AI and everything that's happening around the world, I think there's a lot more growth. There's a lot more learning that we can all do within the industry. There's so many apps. The apps that we knew 3 months ago, it's already changed now.
Yeah.
And so I think one of the things that I like to remind people is continuously learn, continuously develop your skills.
And there's so many online courses.
Yes. And there's a lot of free things as well. It doesn't all have to cost. It's really about reading. And I think one of the things that whether you're going through an illness or going through some form of journey, I think being able to challenge your brain constantly, being able to exercise your brain. We always say it's always good to stay fit, but it's also good to exercise.
Your mental exercise.
Yes, that's very important. And so I think, it doesn't have to be strenuous.
Yeah.
But you could be reading something.
Or listening while you're doing your exercise.
Exactly. Or even you could be listening while you're washing dishes. Exactly. You could be listening while you're doing the gardening.
Whatever, or while you're on your treadmill.
Or
you're
if
listening.
You're sitting in traffic.
Especially in the Philippines. Yeah.
There's so many ways. And I think one of the things that I've learned living here in the Philippines now is that looking at the glimmer
rather
Looking at those
than your
small things.
triggers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, people always complain, oh my God, the traffic. I've actually switched my way of thinking now. The traffic has enabled me to be able to catch up on admin, has allowed me to maybe have a sleep,
Yeah.
being able to listen to audiobooks
Yeah.
or even read.
Yeah.
So it's just really just shifting the way our
I think
narrative
that's
in our
very
head.
important, right?
Yeah.
Especially nowadays where there's really nothing much you can do about the traffic
No, there
already.
isn't. Yeah.
But changing really your perspective.
Absolutely.
I'm a witness to how you pour into your cup to continuously grow.
Yeah.
Why do you invest in yourself so much?
Oh, wow. I think for me, I always strive to be better and do better. And I think we all have opportunities to do that. And for me, one of the things that I'm actually learning, which you saw just a little smidge of during the Manna Festival, is human design. And so we were all born with a human design blueprint. And it's really about honoring your energy. And so for me, I know we are all very different people. And making sure that not only do we respect others, but we're respecting ourselves first. And so if I'm able to ensure that I'm at my best self, then I'll be able to serve other people.
True.
And by serve, I mean, be the best daughter that I can be the best mother that I can be the best wife I could be, and be a good citizen that I can be for my community.
That's such a beautiful outlook with so many things that are happening in our country and in other countries.
Yes.
You know how it's been the past day where people are either happy or in uproar with what has happened in that other side of the world.
Yes.
But there's only so much we can control.
That's right.
But our growth is something that we can control.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Beautiful. Yona, once again, how can our audience reach you?
Okay.
If you have a Facebook account or an IG handle.
Yes. You can contact me on Yona Signo. Really simple. But yes, I'm there on Instagram, on Facebook, LinkedIn. And yeah, I'm just thank you so much. I'm so grateful.
Right now, as we speak, there's so many avenues that I can think of because the health industry landscape is changing so rapidly.
Yes, it is.
I was just telling you about where you feel so passionately also that more and more doctors are doing virtual, right? And they need a lot of help in terms of making sure they're in the place where they have to be, and virtual assistants can really help them.
Yes.
Because if you let go of your clinic, then you also lose your medical secretary. But if you have a VA, you can manage your schedule in 4 hospitals.
That's right.
And someone can still do it for you.
Yes.
So shout out to my friend doctors who may need, but I will definitely link you up with them.
Also, if ever they need assistance, that's one of the things I do as well. So business and outsourcing strategy.
Wow.
So anybody who, for the doctors who may need assistance in that space to be able to grow their clinic in a different way, because we need to be innovative now.
Yes.
Because there's a lot of technology and digital. If you need assistance, reach out, because that's really where I enjoy those things.
Yeah.
Where people don't. I do.
I will link you up with our doctors here at the center, Yona, because they also need to bring to the audience what they offer.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So, and there's so much happening in the healthcare industry right now. Thank you so much, Yona. So as we bring this enlightening episode, and I feel like we still need more time, but I know Yona has to go. As we reach this very enlightening episode of the Life Doula Podcast, we extend our gratitude to my dear friend Yona Signo for sharing her journey as a love giver and a CEO of Kaya. Her story is a testament to the power of resilience, innovation, and the enduring strength of love, even amidst life's toughest challenges. So these are my key insights, Ev, so much. We explored how Yona transformed her love-giving experience into a path of empowerment and opportunity. from creating sustainable income streams from home to pioneering ways to mitigate financial toxicity. Her insights offer truly a roadmap for those facing similar battles. So, our call to action is this: remember, it's not just about surviving the journey, but also finding ways to thrive within it, whether by seeking flexible work opportunities, leveraging technology, or embracing entrepreneurship. There are pathways to alleviate financial stress while still caring for your loved one and for yourself. We hope Yona's story inspires you to envision new possibilities in your life and empowers you to tackle financial challenges with courage and creativity. Thank you for joining us in this conversation. Until next time, may love and ingenuity guide your journey.